The GTS is a celebration of everything AMG stands for. High performance, meticulous engineering and a dash of flamboyance. It's essentially a shortened SLS shell, but without the gull-wing doors. The Mercedes AMG GTS was unveiled in 2014 as a successor to the iconic SLS AMG. Designed to embody the spirit of performance and luxury, it was a bold move by Mercedes to step into the world of pure sports cars and take on the 911. The 4-litre twin-turbo V8 sits entirely behind the front axle of the car, meaning that it's more front mid-engined rather than a traditional front-engine car. The GTS engine punches out about 510 horsepower with 650 Nm of torque. This will get you to 60 in about 3.8 seconds and boasts a top speed of 193 miles per hour. It's got the SLS front axle, but with a completely new rear axle, with double wishbones and lower arms that connect directly to the wheel carriers so that you get better control. It's not very light, but it's also not very heavy by today's standards either. It weighs in at a reasonable 1,600 kilos, so we'll see if you can feel that weight when we take it for a drive in a bit. Right, let's have a look at boot space, but there is something I want to show you, because apparently not a lot of people know about this. There is a kick plate underneath the car, which opens the boot if you're carrying lots of shopping or things. Boot space is actually pretty good. You could probably fit 2 small suitcases in here, maybe even a medium, which makes it great for a weekend away or a nice long trip in your car. However, if you're vertically challenged, this could be a problem. Wheels, fairly standard. You've got 19s on the front, 20s on the rear. This particular car has Michelin PS4s on it. One thing that really surprised me was the amount of camber on the back wheels. It's quite squat when you look at them. Brakes, nice big carbon brakes, but you've also got single piston brakes rather than the normal 4-pots that most cars come on. Not sure why, I'm sure someone can tell us in the comments. Interior space, it actually feels quite large in here. You've got this huge center console, which has various different compartments in it. Glove box literally is big enough for gloves. There is nothing else you can fit in that glove box. On the right of the center console, we've got the different modes. So you've got individual mode, which is what it says on the tin. You set your configurations for steering, suspension, throttle response to whatever you want. You've then got comfort, which is comfort, what it says on the tin. Softens everything up, softens up the throttle response, softens up the steering. You've then got sport, which stiffens everything up, gives you more throttle response, so you've got a quicker powertrain. You've then got Sport Plus, which does the same, but even more aggressively. And then you've got Race, which gives you the quickest response, really quick gear shifts, really stiff suspension, and essentially sets you up for track driving. Then you've got your engine start-stop button. Then you've got your traction control off and on. Then below that, you've got your suspension setup button, so you can put it into Comfort, Sport or Sport Plus. In the middle of the center console, we've got the park brake and then your drive, reverse, auto gears. And then above that, you've got this pressy thing and the wheel to change your infotainment system, so switch between navigation, radio, media, your phone and vehicle setup. This particular car does have CarPlay, which isn't a standard feature. The owner has installed that after purchase. On the dashboard, we have kind of a standard setup really. You can flick between trip, navigation, radio, media, all those sorts of things that you can also do on the screen to the right. You do also have a lap timer, which obviously I don't know how good it is, but it comes with a lap timer. Really nice dials. I love the simple layout of this. It's not too cluttered, it's not too much. Just looks really nice. And finally, the seats, really nice design. Kind of plasticky, they're not like a nice carbon back like I expected, but even so, they are a nice looking seat. One other thing that is very cool that is underneath this very silly placed center compartment that is also very hard to get open is this little remote that the owner has had retrofitted. And what this does is changes the valve position on the exhaust, so you get different notes from the exhaust depending on what setting you select. Now, I obviously can't show you about that until the car is started, so let's do that and then we will have a look. Okay, so normal, closed, very, very quiet, and then we press the little button, which makes it slightly quieter. And then the best one in my opinion is number 3. Oh yeah. Right, that's enough chatting, let's go for a drive. So a couple of things that I forgot to mention earlier in the video, just want to quickly go through them. So the first thing is the wiper and indicator stalks. You only have one stalk, there is nothing on the right hand side of the steering wheel. You've got the wiper stalk and the indicator stalk on the same thing basically. So to do the wipers you press in, and then you can also change the speed by turning the dial, and then to get some water out of the wipers you press it down hard and then the water will come out. But then on the same stalk you have your lights and indicators, and then underneath that you have got cruise control and limiters and all the general stuff, but you don't have anything on the right hand side. Second thing is above your head you have heated seats and the button for putting the wing up. Looks really, really cool with the wing up. And then the third thing is if you want to look up at the sky while you're driving along, you can pull this little thing over and now I can see the sky. Lovely. Right, that's done. So what don't I like about this car? I don't like this stupid little cubby hole compartment thing. When you push the button down, it doesn't just lift up, you have to faff around with it. It's really, really, really annoying. That's it, done. I genuinely can't find anything else I don't like about this car. So, what's it like to drive? Firstly, the suspension is stiff. I'm currently in comfort mode and it is still, I can feel what's going on in the road. I can feel every bump that I go over. You know, you get a lot of feedback through the steering wheel, but the suspension is stiff. It's not stiff to the point that it's unusable or uncomfortable. It's just stiff and you're aware of what's going on in the road. Brakes are good. This car actually has steels. You could spec ceramics from factory as an option, but this particular one is steels. They're good. I don't feel like I need ceramics in it at all. It stops nicely. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with the brakes at all. Gearbox is absolutely lovely. This 7-speed auto, it just, you don't even notice when you're changing gear. It just kind of happens, and then, yeah, I mean, it's so smooth. Really, 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 really lovely gear changes. One thing I will say is it does feel a bit unsure of itself in comfort mode. It's a bit kind of stuttery, I guess, but that's fine. You put it into any of the other modes and it's actually not an issue at all. When this car really does come into its own though is when you open the valves, put it into Sport Plus and do this. Oh, I don't know if you could just hear that crackle, but oh. That was fun. The steering is so pointy. I can't even explain to you. It's just, you think and it turns where you want it to go. It's almost Lotus-like. It feels like, now I know the Lotus got the AMG box in it. This is almost the car that the Emira should have been. It's comfy, luxurious, you can drive around in it daily, it handles like a Lotus, it feels like a Lotus, but then it's got the power that the Emira was missing. Also very, very similar to drive to Advantage. Again, I know they've got similar engines. I think this one's got the 178 and the Vantage has got the 177 engine, not obviously Aston Martin's 177, I mean the M177 engine, the AMG make. Very, very similar in terms of specs, weight, all that sort of stuff. But one thing I found with the Vantage was that it felt slow. It felt, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it had enough power. My friend's got one that's got a map on it, and that you need around sort of 600-700 horsepower in that car for it to feel like it's got enough power. You don't get that in this at all. This feels like it's got the right amount of power for everything else going on in it. This also doesn't feel like a front engine car. It really does feel like a mid-engine car. The balance is perfect, the weight distribution feels perfect. You don't feel the weight in the car at all. I think as well, so in Sport Plus and Sport and Race, it revs a lot higher. So in comfort, it changes up gears quickly. It's comfort mode, it's nanny mode, daily mode. Once you put it into Sport and Sport Plus and Race, it revs really, really high. And I think that's another thing, that it almost makes it feel faster than it is. You can really, really, really feel the torque when you put your foot down in those different modes. And I think that just adds to the exemplary drive that this car provides. It's just awesome. I'm going to be honest, I totally get it now. I totally get it. I thought this was going to be a proper GT car. I thought it was going to be very similar to the likes of the DB11, where they're quite front end heavy, tail happy, don't feel overly planted. I know they're very good to drift and donut, because I know someone who seems to be incapable of staying in a straight line in his. He's constantly in car parks going round and round in circles. But I am so impressed with this car. Just seems to do everything. You could daily it really, really happily, and then you take it to a twisty road and it just absolutely comes into its own. It's just incredible. It's an absolute animal. I am so sold on this car. In fact, I think this might be the first car I've driven that would be a contender for replacing the RS5. And I didn't think I would ever say that, because the RS5 is such a great car, but it is boring to drive. But it's fantastic. I'm actually in love. I know I say, oh yeah, I love other cars, but I am actually in love. 2-car garage, this and my Exige, spot on. Right, fun factor, I'm giving it a firm 9. It's not the Exige, but it is so up there, it hurts. I'm giving it a 9. And practicality, I'm gonna give it probably a 7, because you could daily it more than happily. If you've got more than 2 people in your household, or you want to bring anyone other than yourself, maybe an umbrella or a child or a partner, you can't bring all of those things in one go. You can only bring one and yourself. Can fit stuff in the boot, got a decent sized boot, much bigger boot actually than I thought it was going to be. Just seen a Vantage drive down the road, and they are about the same price, these 2 cars. Pound for pound, I'd have this, 100%. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, practicality, giving it a 7. I could 100% live with this. I'm gonna go and find Twisty Road now and listen to that exhaust. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this in the video, but it is making my little girl senses just go crazy. I love this car, proper love this car. This is so much fun. I hope you can hear the crackling on the video because it is giving me so much joy. It is unreal. Just sat at traffic lights waiting to go under a bridge. Just gonna open the window a little bit. Had tail out a little bit then, that was fun. Really should be illegal for a car to be this fun and sound this good. So I'm about 15 minutes from the owner's house, dropping the car back, and I'm going to be honest, I am really sad. I don't want to give it back. I want to take it home with me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything in future, and I'll see you next week.